What's up?
Oh, I'm just compiling all the top sports scores, news, and odds so I can make the very best bets.
Me too. BetOnline.ag.
Join today and receive your 50% welcome bonus at betonline.ag.
I am fascinated to hear that introductory press conference in Brooklyn just because I don't know if you'll be there. There will be some Boston reporters there, obviously, that are going to ask him about the video with his dad and raising 11 to the Raptors and the preseason proclamation to the season ticket holders about coming back if you'll have me. And he's going to dodge it because that's what he does, and he'll find a way to ramble and talk without saying anything, and they'll move on to the next question. We won't actually get any sort of answer, but I am really interested to hear how he does handle that when the time comes. But unsurprisingly, we all knew it, Stevens said, as you heard, he wanted Al Horford back. He did not say the same thing about Kyrie Irving.
I've said this before. I enjoyed Kyrie. I like Kyrie, and I wish him nothing but health and success. I think any time that you go through a year like we went through where you don't necessarily meet expectations, on some years that might be a good year, but on others it's not. I think there's probably going to be some change, and, I don't fault him one bit for choosing to follow whatever he wants to do. That's his right.
I know Brad's excited to have Kemba Walker in the fold with all the different ways that's going to work with him, but even independent of that, let's say Terry Rozier was coming back, or Marcus Smart is your starting point guard, or it's Ricky Rubio, or it's any of the other names that were floated around that are somewhere in between, Kyrie Irving and a worst case scenario, and you luck out that it's Kemba and that's not it at all. But independent of Kemba coming in, do you think Brad's just kind of relieved that Kyrie's gone?
You must be right. I mean, that was a coach's nightmare situation that he had to deal with there. And, he wanted Kyrie to be a partner, and that, never quite came to fruition. And now he's got, the exact opposite guy reputation-wise in Kemba. Kemba is kind of seen as, the ultimate coach's partner, extremely cooperative, willing to mold his game to the system. Seems like he'll be a much better fit for the system. This is kind of a dream come true scenario for Brad Stevens. And, this is we were talking about the desert metaphor. This is like Brad Stevens wandering through the desert and all of a sudden hit the ocean. He is. This is incredible for him.
Today's show is brought to you by Quip. I'm sure all you are done with your spring cleaning, considering summer is finally here. But one thing you need to work on, that's cleaning your mouth. You got to do that all the time. And in 2 minutes, you can get the best clean you've ever had just by signing up for Quip. Quip uses sensitive sonic vibrations to give you the best clean of your life. Most people brush way too hard, and the electric toothbrushes, they can be abrasive. So give your mouth the gentle clean it needs. 90% of people don't brush for the full 2 minutes. Quip's here to help you. Pulses every 30 seconds to remind you to switch it up. Think about it. How many times does your mind wander when you brush your teeth? Well, Quip is designed so you can daydream. Make it easy. It's time to upgrade your game to the toothbrush backed by over 25,000 professionals. Get Quip today. Get your first refill on us. Just go to getquip.com/Celtics. That is getquip.com/Celtics. Today's show is brought to you by betonline.ag. The NBA season's over, sure, but that doesn't mean you can't still make money on basketball. You can already bet on who's going to win the 2020 title. Lakers, plus 350. Nope. How about the Clippers, right? And the Celtics. You could still look to them, plus 1,800, and some people would say, Ian Thompson last week, maybe Jared Weiss, that Celtics could possibly make a run to the East Finals. Third best championship odds in the Eastern Conference. You can also make custom player bets during games. You can pick a player and a stat. BetOnline.ag will give you a line for it. It's really cool. And odds already out for player props for next year. Zion Williamson, future rookie of the year maybe, but his points per game, that is set at 18.5. You can bet on who's going to win the season series between the Lakers and Clippers. Spoiler, Clippers. Make sure you go to clnsmedia.com/CelticsBeat. Get a 50% bonus on your first deposit of at least $25 when you sign up and use the promo code CLNS50. Don't be left on the sideline with all this excitement going on the court. Plus, you can play on BetOnline's virtual casino, make some money there too. Whatever you do, make sure you use betonline.ag and use the promo code CLNS50 for a 50% bonus on your first deposit of at least $25. Just go to clnsmedia.com/CelticsBeat. Then please see BetOnline's general rules for additional terms and conditions regarding bonuses. So Brad spoke about last year's group out at Summer League in Las Vegas. You were there. I know you're back in the Boston area now. And I'll play this clip quick because there is one part that I took exception to that you and others probably did as well.
If it doesn't work, it's not because guys aren't good guys. Everybody in that locker room was well-intentioned. Everybody's a good guy. And we didn't fit, and I think that that's part of it. Sometimes that happens. I think that anytime you have a relationship, that doesn't always fit together. And so I don't have anything bad to say about anybody, and I don't want to make it look like by saying that it's become a priority all of a sudden that it wasn't before. It's always been one.
So Brad's always going to take the high road and never going to dump on a guy. That's all fine. I wouldn't want him to. But saying everyone on last year's team was well-intentioned, that's just false. Egos were out of control. You hit on some of that earlier, and many of these guys were concerned with their own agendas above winning. The top priority across the board was not the championship that everybody talked about and borderline expected in the preseason.
Well, it's kind of like a bit of a cognitive dissonance to say it this way, but it is the way that every single player on the team has told me and many others and said publicly over the past, few months, and same thing with the coaching staff, is that well-intentioned, I think, in this scenario is kind of meaning like everybody wanted to win. They all wanted everything to work together. They wanted to make the system work. But then the reality sets in that when you're on the court, that you feel like you need your shots. You feel like you need to find your rhythm. And that just kind of piles on, especially when, almost every team has one or two of those guys, but there were like 7 of those guys for last year. And so, that I think is what really happened. It wasn't like guys were fighting in the locker room. At least it doesn't seem this way. It doesn't seem like guys were fighting in the locker room saying like I'm the star of this team. I need to get everything. It's like I was having conversations with players throughout the year who were telling me like we're trying to make it work, but like I can't find a rhythm because I'm not getting the looks that I'm used to getting, and it's really hard for me to figure it out when I'm only getting like 2 shots in the paint per game basically, and I can't get in the rhythm, and therefore I'm not hitting my shots. Like that's how it kind of felt for all these guys. So, there's a reason why you have a dichotomy on a team. It's that when you talk about sacrifice, it's that there's going to be some guys on a team that just aren't going to be able to get that rhythm, and that's why to get 6 shots a game up to get warmed up. They just come out there and they catch and shoot, and they're ready to go, and they're hot from the gate or they're cold from the gate, and that's how it is. And they don't need to like play and shoot their way through it. And so that's why they need more of a dichotomy. They need more role players, and they're trying to figure out how to make that happen now.
I wouldn't change anything about this journey at all. It's brought me back here, and that's home. And home is where my family is. Home is where I want my legacy to continue. And I'm happy to be in Brooklyn.